What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of 27 and Q alongside that man right there, two-time Super Bowl champ, former running back of the Giants, and a great one, Brandon Jacobs. I'm Rich Quinones. Appreciate everyone keeping us locked in. As always, check out 27 and Q on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple. We are growing exponentially. So the big man said he was going to say some crazy nonsense last week, and all of a sudden, bang, 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 bang. And I love poking the bear, and that's what we do best.
Poke the bear, baby.
What's going on, B? How are you?
Got up and growled, baby. Got up and growled.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's going on, brother? You all right?
Oh, man. You know, Rich, a lot going on, man, for us. Changing high schools, obviously. We talk, I'm real public about that. Really excited about it as well, man. The kids are excited about it. Going to one of the biggest programs in the state. Kids gonna have, iron sharpen iron. They're gonna be pushed. Not that they wasn't pushed where they were, because they were pushed. Really great football players where we were at St. Francis. All of my guys I coach, from down, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. A lot of those guys are developing well. A great coaching staff, good school. I wish them nothing but the best. It just weren't a good fit for me and my family, and I just felt like, it's time to do something a little different. I'm happy about it. I got a little bit of a lot of a burden taken off me with helping building the program and getting getting kids recruited and so on and so forth. So a lot of burden is off of me as well, and I can kind of be comfortable.
How many guys did you have coaching staff wise? Are you able to kind of pass the baton, or the district or the school will bring in? I
don't really know what it is they're going to do. I know they got a great coaching staff, a real good coaching staff, a lot of league guys. The head coach, Coach Bard, an older guy. Probably I put him on a level with Coach Coughlin. Really respects him a lot. Love him to death. It was just like I said, man. It was just time to move on. For us.
And I wish you the best of luck with it. And I mean, that's never an easy thing, especially when you got kids, right? You want them to finish out high school and then obviously going to college, and in this case, play and whatnot. And I joked to you before we came on the air. I said, it's going to be like high school transfer, the portal. But can you explain this to me? So we're going to get into a lot of the NFL, touch base on some boxing. Obviously, the Giants with a debacle, big week coming up against Eagles. But my God, this freaking fallout be from Deion Sanders. Like, I'm actually sitting back and just having popcorn watching this stuff, because now he's on Twitter, he's openly recruiting players. And I saw people were getting on him for that. And they were getting on him for the fact that he basically told the kids, hey, man, you might as well jump in a portal right now. Like, I have absolutely no problem with that. You know why? Because he's basically trying to light a spark under their ass, find out who's going to be there and who's not. And he's being brutally honest. What's the big deal? Why is everyone so soft about this?
Well, I love Prime, right? You know that. Everybody knows I love Deion Sanders. I love Deion Sanders as a leader, as a coach. Everything about him I love. Here's my only thing with the entry. It's okay to tell, if you ain't gonna bring your ass in here and you ain't gonna work hard to earn what you need to earn, you might as well hit the portal. Right? I don't think anything is wrong with that, but who you're bringing, I kind of man, you could have told them work hard, and if you don't want to work hard, you're gonna get the hell on about your business. But just as far as the goal, say who you're bringing, you got your quarterback already, and you're bringing 10 more dogs, so y'all gonna have, I just think that was a little bit more of a belittling,
and contradiction a little bit.
Yeah. But everything else, man, Prime taking his job at Colorado, great opportunity for him. He's in a position to help other guys. Another black head coach, college football. He's going to be, he can pay his coaches. He got a bit of a budget now to pay his coaches now at Colorado when he couldn't play at Jackson. He's doing a lot of great things, man. I mean, and everybody's pissed because he left. But man, I want to go over something real quick right here, Rich. Let's just go over the economy impact he had in Jackson, right? So he had $30 million to the city of Jackson in 3 years, right? $9 million for 2022 Jackson State homecoming. $9 million. $4 million for the Boombox Classic. That's band. That's the band, man. That got nothing to do with football. The #1 recruiting class in HBCU history. Signed the first five. He signed the first 5-star football player to HBCU in HBCU history. The most number of quality prospects by HBCU in history in 2021. You know, he got HBCU. He got what? I'm gonna have to taper that and go back. He got Jackson State on the map.
Yeah.
You know, nationally because of what he was doing there, right? TV. He got an ESPN deal with the SWAC for $120 million over 10 years. That's going to be there, even though he's not. That's never going to change. So he changed that with the SWAC.
How many years again, B? What was the numbers on that? What was that SWAC deal again for TV? What was that SWAC deal again for TV?
It's $120 million.
Over 10 years?
Over 10 years.
Wow.
$120 million over 10 years. He got 125 games aired, you know, throughout the 2022 session. The college game day was in Jackson, even though they didn't air the game, which I don't get that part. College game day went to Jackson, but they didn't air the game, which I was kind of puzzled about that. So, you know, he put Jackson State on the map. You know, everybody always say, you know, everybody around is making this big fuss about HBCUs. Let's be frank, and let's be all the way frank and all the way honest. Look at me here, right? If Deion Sanders would have stayed at Jackson, no other team would have ever had a chance to win anything. He was going to get all these good players at Jackson, and no one else were going to get any players, and he was going to kick everybody's ass every year consistently. He was going to get bored. This is a great challenge for him as far as recruiting, as far as having to play against more competition, or more about on an even playing field that, you know, he wasn't on an even playing field. You know, there's a lot of things happening in Jackson financially that nobody knows. They just want to point the finger at Prime. You know, a lot of money stuff happened. He was supposed to get paid a certain percentage of the admission, you know, ticket sales. Yeah. All of a sudden, these ticket sales aren't there. Where, the man don't have his money. So, you know, he got his stuff stolen multiple times. That means, come on, man. Like, the guy had a reason to go and find, you know, a place to go for him and his family. I salute Prime. I appreciate you, my brother, for all you've done. Keep on going, and I wish you nothing but the best.
So 2 things to piggyback on that. His salary was $1.2 million over 4 years, which is about $300,000 a year. He gave half of that away to improve the facilities. So for people to get pissed off that he's going to make $5 million over 300 is an absolute friggin' joke, because let's be honest, man, truth serum, someone comes up to any of us and say, hey, we're going to better your opportunity and pay you more. You're going to take it. I don't care what anyone says. I'm sorry, loyalty be damned, because it's doggy world out there, right? It's, you got to go with yours. That's the truth. The other thing, and the point that you brought up, is that because of his stature, his swag, his credibility, and he was basically, it would have been like a monopoly. He would have owned all the great players, so to speak, or, you know, recruited them and had great talent. You brought up a fantastic point. If the SWAC wasn't going to be competitive and he would have kept ripping through it and they go undefeated after 2, 3, 4, 5 years, there's going to be some clown talking head on the air and say, well, let me see if Deion Sanders can do it in a Pac-10 school or an SEC school or a Big Ten school. Well, here you go. He just expedited the process, right?
Yeah.
And people are still mad.
People are mad. People are going to be mad, man. You know, you're not going to make everybody happy. You got to go with your heart. You got to go with your gut and go to the best route for you and your family, man. And that's that, man. Like, I'm going through that right now. You know, so you got to go with the best thing, man. That's going to be less stress on you, less worry, you know. And that's what he's doing, man. He's putting himself in a situation, you know, in a position to maybe grab a job at, you know, Florida State 3 years, 4 years from now. You know, Nick Saban is getting older.
Can you imagine that?
Nick Saban is getting older. Can you imagine Deion Sanders at the University of Alabama? Cancel Christmas.
I can't. Florida State, Florida State. What if he decided a couple of years from now, you know what? Let me just go to the U.
That's his personality, though. Like, that's his personality, man. I want to see Prime do great, man. I want to see Prime do great at Colorado. I want to see Prime do great at Jackson. I love watching him do good. I love the swag he brings. I love everything about what the man has done, man.
You have any issue with him going on social media and basically openly recruiting?
No, come on to he said, come on to Colorado. I'm gonna offer you come on to Colorado. No, I don't have a problem with that because that's what the platform is for. That's his platform. That's what makes him great. The rest of these coaches better get out here and they better start doing their thing.
They're not gonna.
I mean, Prime got cameras following them everywhere, every day.
Because he's Deion Sanders.
He capture everything.
You know what? I get it, man. I'm with you. You got to be different. You got to think outside the box. But these coaches ain't doing it. They're not. And here, and you think about it, he's actually kind of being that trailblazer in that fashion. When you think about it, he's doing it. It's very unorthodox, but you know, there are a few athletes that you walk in the room and you sit there and they command the room, so to speak, right? I mean, when you look at his career and his pedigree, but no, that's a really good point on the money that he brought in. And people are still going to bark. All right, so you go from the good with Deion, right? And then you got to go to the bad to your Giants, man. I'm sorry. Don't
you do it. Don't you talk about my Giants now.
They're horrible, man. They were bad. A couple things. Listen, come on. Look behind me, man. You cut me open, the blue comes out. You already know that. I have to call it the way I see it. My Sunday, once again, was friggin' ruined. Why? Because the head coach, who in the beginning of the year had the day balls of steel, going for 2 against Tennessee, and we're going to be aggressive. We're going for the jugular and this and that, decided against a team in Washington where you had to treat it like a playoff game at home, where you're down 10 and you come roaring back, go conservative late in the game, punt on a 4th and 3, go conservative at times in overtime. When it's a game you have to have. Why? Because he doesn't trust his offensive line. He doesn't trust the quarterback. But for the coach that we were sold this bill of goods, and I like Brian Daboll, I think he's going to be a hell of a coach with the Giants and in this league. But where's that guy that we saw week 1 on the road against the Titans? We're going for the win, but you don't want to go for it on 4th and 3. You know, that game was an utter debacle. They had practice squad players at the corner position. You had Feliciano flexing, and he gets called for a ridiculous friggin' penalty that, in essence, knocks him out of field goal range. You know, Saquon got stymied again. Slayton, the friggin' ball hits him in the hands, and he can't catch an effing cold. No, I'm tired, man. That was a horrible game. They needed that game. Now you're allowed to jump in. Okay.
You sure I can go now?
I'm good now.
Let me add to the bullshit you're talking about. The New York Giants in the second half had 45 total yards. One of 5 on third down, right at 20%. Like, are you kidding me? Three first down. The time of possession was 10 minutes and 29 seconds. Daniel Jones was 7 for 10, 39 yards. Saquon had 5 rushes for 1 yard. How the fuck are you supposed to win in the toughest division in football with those type of second half numbers?
And how about the defense? They allowed Washington, you mentioned that time of possession was like 35 something on minutes. So there were a couple plays, and I'm just curious from a player standpoint. I don't remember Coughlin really being very aggressive at times. I'm sure there were games, obviously.
He was never aggressive. But he didn't take many chances.
Right. And I think it was out of necessity. Like, all right, you have to go for it, right? You know, you had to go for the 4th and 1 in the Super Bowl, right? Okay. I know you know that play. So, but my point is, if it's out of necessity, that's one thing. And Washington, in their credit, they picked on a bad secondary. Like, you're starting to see no Jackson, no McKinney. Those are big time losses now. It's rearing its ugly head. We can argue if it was avoidable or not. It doesn't matter. Hopefully they get back soon. But offensively, I think at this point, he doesn't either trust the quarterback or he doesn't trust the offensive line. Either way, that's a major, major problem because this year was supposed to be a revamped line. You find out what your quarterback has. And they just got conservative in a game where the analytics, the numbers, the stats say you go for it at home because Washington wasn't a world beater. There was 2 broken plays with piss poor tackling by the Giants in the secondary that they scored. So you treat that game as we need to win it. That game, at least as a fan, it felt like a loss.
Yeah, I agree. It's I don't know, man. I mean, we're running out of time to get what we need to get. Now I know my 12 games is not going to be real, but you know, 1-7 is more than what we've seen in the past. I just think we got a good thing going. We got to get a playmaker. And here I look on Instagram today, and they whining and dining Odell Beckham in Dallas. Dirk Nowitzki, Dez Bryant. I'm looking at that shit. I'm like, yeah, he's gone. He's gone.
Well, I want to get to Odell in a second, but real quick, after the game, it's amazing some of these friggin' report. I mean, you had to deal with them. I'm listening to Pat Leonard of the Daily News, who, I'm sorry, man, that guy was just an Eli hater. He's sitting there basically, huh?
Yeah, right. Big hater.
Yeah, so poking the bear a little bit, basically insinuating that Saquon was, decided I'm going to tiptoe through the tulips on a couple runs, calling him out, saying that he wasn't running hard, when I saw the one run in overtime or late in the game where I think he just lowered his shoulder. Do you think Saquon is injured?
Everybody's injured at this time of year.
I know, but do you think it's to the point where it's affecting the way he's running now, especially after that Texans game when he had 30-something odd carries for $152? He's been non-existent, or is it a product of the line, or a little bit of both?
I definitely think he's nicked up. Everybody could say he's nicked up at this time of year. I mean, there's people trying to figure out. It's easy to figure out how to stop the run, man. For real, especially when you don't have much around it. The man he's kind of in no man's land, right? I mean, you don't trust the people on the outside. The quarterback is going to give you his best. He's going to do his best, but at the end of the day, man, we don't have any big play wide receivers on the outside. So who are they looking at? They're looking at Saquon. So they're gonna sell out to stop him. I mean, he went from second in the league to fourth in rushing. So he's sitting right at 1,055 yards. Fourth behind Josh Jacobs, Nick Chubb, and Derrick Henry. So I mean, he's still doing pretty good, I would say. But I mean, he's hurting, and I know he's hurting, and you can see the way he's playing. He still, to me, it still looks good, but just he's doing his best, man. I mean, I wouldn't, he's doing his best.
15 carries, 11 carries, 18 carries. Those are his last 3 games after 35 carries against the Texans. I think I asked you this, so forgive me.
35 is too much, Rich. It's too much. I think 18, 19, 20 is 25 at most is the way he needs to be.
But here's the thing. With him against Detroit, he carried the ball 15 times against the 31st ranked run defense in the league, and they decided, let's get him going in the second half. I think with Saquon, correct me if I'm wrong, you have to get him going early, right? Don't you have to, because you want to, when you were playing, you wanted your carries, I know in the beginning of your career, short yardage back. But then when you were going over 1,000, you were getting your 15, 16, 70, maybe even 20 plus here and there, run downhill. You have to develop that groove and rhythm with the offensive line. Do you not? So is that play calling now? Are they trying to save them a little bit? Because again, 35 carries, 152, 4.3 a tote, 15 for 22, 11 for 39, 18 for 63.
Yeah, I mean, they got to get him going sooner. But like I said, I don't know the order of the play call. And I know Coach Gilroy on Saturday night, he used to give us the top 12 plays that we're going to run. And we ran those 12 plays. And in those top 12 plays, we had 8 runs.
Yeah.
We had 7 to 8 runs. It was but we had a team that can do everything. But I think Saquon needs to touch the ball in the first series at least twice.
That's what I'm saying, because just get him going. Like, I know you've said this so many times on the show. You have to soften him up. You have to show them run. You have to stick with it. I totally get it. But, man, that Detroit game's going to bite him in the ass. And then last week, it's always like, now let's start forcing the run, right, when you're behind or doing something that you're not accustomed to doing. And then Jones does make the throw down the field, and the receiver, Slayton, you have to catch it. I mean, So I look, man, I don't know what the hell that Eagles offense is going to do that at secondary. come Sunday, man. I mean,
well, I don't know either, man. I just wish we can get lucky and win the game. That's it. That's all I feel. I just feel like we can get an Eagle win. I think if we can go and beat the Eagles and create some momentum. You never know what might come out of this thing, man. I just don't want us to go get embarrassed. That's it.
I don't think that's the case. They flex that game Sunday night next week, Washington, which essentially might be an in and win. Eagles might have everything wrapped up by the week 17. Maybe they're not going to start all their starters. They rest some players. The Giants have to figure out a way to beat the Colts that look dead. And then you got Minnesota, and Minnesota's going into Detroit, and Minnesota's a dog. I mean, that tells you the odds makers don't have any respect for my guy, Captain Kirk.
I mean, why?
Leave him alone.
What's he done?
What? No, come on, man. Hey, Odell, real quick. I want to ask you this. I
like Kirk Cousins, man.
I was dying to ask you this. So I said this a couple weeks ago with you that, he knows how to play the game. Buffalo, maybe back to the Rams, the Giants, the Love Fest, and then obviously the Dallas Cowboys. And then it comes out that information is leaked that maybe, his knee, it's not where it should be. And that's coming out of Dallas. And that's coming out of Jerry Jones. So he basically came out and said that, so he visits the Giants and the Bills. No one says anything. He goes to the Cowboys and they start telling the media that they have concerns about his knee. Now I'm wondering two things. That's kind of a dickhead move by the Cowboys, to be honest, because you lower the value, or it's maybe trying to tactics, scare teams away. I don't think he's going to sign with a team. I think it's going to play out the rest of the season and then maybe in the offseason. You're a player. You're being quartered like that, and then stuff leaks out about your knee. Are you pissed?
I'm pissed.
Yeah?
I'm pissed.
Yeah. I would be too. Like, what do you do? Does your agent address that? Or does that kind of – does that
agent
make your decision?
Are you come out, agent can address it, physical. I'm going with everybody that has worked with me throughout these last 6 to 8 months to come out on my behalf and go back on what they said, So, I mean, I'm definitely going to defend myself in the media. No question.
Would that maybe change your mind a little bit, sway you in another direction if you were thinking about signing with that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go play that when you're trying to lower my value. And okay, I came and you didn't offer me a contract and you don't want people to look at you crazy. How could you let Odell get away without a contract? He didn't want to have to deal with that part. So that's why he did what he did and said what he said, because he didn't want to have to deal with that.
When you your last year with the Giants, when you went to San Francisco, and I know you mentioned you had a couple teams you were talking to. Correct me if I'm wrong again. Did you have you hurt your knee in the preseason, right? With San Francisco.
I hurt my knee in the preseason in San Francisco.
Yeah, but nothing.
I shouldn't have played. I should have been on IR that year.
But the IR back then was basically, we put you on the IR, you're done for the year. It wasn't. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How does that work with a salary, with a contract?
Well, if you got a split in your contract, if you go on IR, you get a 50% split or whatever your split is. You get half of your salary. But I didn't have a split. So I was going to get all of my money anyway. So I didn't have a split. So it didn't really matter. I guess it's probably why. And if I was them, I'd have put me on IR because you gain a roster spot that way. But they didn't do that for some reason. I got all of my money.
You played hurt all year?
I didn't play. I was just there. I barely practiced. I started to practice, and then once I went to practice, it was like 2 or 3 weeks coming in and I never got a shot. I just kind of.
I thought you played in a couple games that year.
I did. And I didn't, I should have been on IR, right?
Yeah.
But, I just didn't get a chance to really do much. So I kind of quit and gave up. To be honest with you, I'm like, man, I'm just going to ride this shit through. But I was so frustrated and I just could not just chill and just not cause any problems. So I just could not chill and not cause any problems. So I said some shit and there we go. So, I mean, I still walked away with all of my money. I made Super Bowl money from them that they went that year. Really, I made out better than the players. and they didn't even have to play.
Did you think in hindsight, looking back, if you would have been placed on IR and rehabbed and rested, you could have played a couple more years?
I probably could have played a couple more years, but practicing on a wheel like this was tough. And I'll go out there and get the defense to work, but I was in so much pain that toward the end of practice all the time. So
yeah. I don't, that's the one tricky thing, man. Like when you're banged up, like in this case, with your case, with Beckham's case, I mean, it's like, come on, man, you're trying to court me. You're scaring people off. I get it, but you don't need to leak that kind of nonsense.
Yeah, you don't need to do it.
But that's just, the nastiness of the business, so to speak, right?
Absolutely. It's super nasty, Rich.
Yeah.
They don't love you.
What's that?
They don't love you. You know what I'm saying? The business don't love you.
No. So a couple other things that dropped. Baker Mayfield got released by Carolina. I thought San Fran was going to pick him up. It looks like
Jimmy G just went down.
Yeah, but they think not Liz Frank, so they think he might be back late in the playoffs if they make that run. So they're going to stick with that kid, Mr. Irrelevant Purdy. I don't know if that's an indictment on Baker Mayfield that the 49ers didn't sign him, but I was thinking about this too. So the Rams picked him up. McVay liked Baker Mayfield a couple years ago, coming out of college. And I think one of their wide receivers coach liked them too. They had to watch film on a couple wideouts, and obviously Baker was slinging it. The Rams are the perfect example, right? They went all in last year. They made a lot of trades, paid guys, gave up draft capital. They were not a juggernaut of a team, but they won a Super Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. Now you're seeing Stafford is pretty much on his last leg, so to speak. I think maybe it's a situation where they believe Baker can be this reclamation project, and you got him on the cheap, and you bring back some healthy players, and maybe that's going to be it for Stafford. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I could definitely see that. I can definitely see that happening. They weed him out. Bring.
You gave us everything we wanted. Thanks for the ring. See you later.
Yeah. Save money on the salary cap.
Shitty. How shitty is that?
Because Baker Mayfield is not going to cost,
No.
Starter in Los Angeles, $4 million maybe. Hadn't done shit. $4 million a year, I see.
No, he had the 1 year with Cleveland when they beat Pittsburgh. And, Stafford, I shouldn't say that's bad stuff because his contract when he got drafted by Detroit was like 60-something on million, all guaranteed. So I don't know. No, that's really fascinating stuff. You got some good games this weekend, man. The Jets are playing the Bills. The Bills just lost Von Miller, and they're still 9.5-point favorite against the Jets.
God damn it, he just went down again.
Place on the IR. He's done. Yep. Did you watch any of the Dallas and Colts game the other night?
Man, yeah, I watched the game and it looked horrible. The score looked horrible, but it wasn't. It didn't look with the score. It didn't show that. They didn't play as bad. They turned the ball over 2 times in a row and they turned it into points.
Yeah.
They turned the ball over 3 times in a row. They turned it into points. So, I mean, it wasn't as bad as the score looked.
You think Jeff Saturday's probably thinking, hey, I wonder if I can get my seat back on TV.
Jeff was probably like, oh, shit, man, they're going to kick our ass and I'm going to be here for my first ass whooping. This is crazy. But, I mean, I'm not sure you want his seat back. It looks like he's enjoying what he's doing.
Yeah. Your Saints, man, they had an opportunity to close out Tampa Bay. Play calling was horrible, man. They just, well, you're a Louisiana guy. Come on, man. Don't be turning you. That looks like I know that guy in that photo, man.
Yeah, me too.
I know that. You all right?
To fix it.
Is someone calling you the background? You okay? Yeah, that's good. We got the leveler. I don't know what the hell they were thinking the other night, man. Throwing the ball on 3rd and 1, giving the ball back to Brady. That's another team that you're getting rid of the water pistol. I don't know what's going on with
the water pistol. You kill me. You kill me with that, man.
Is that water pistol? But when you watch a game like that and you see Brady go right down the field, because Tampa Bay is not a juggernaut, they're going to win the division by default. Is that more of how bad the defense is at that moment? What kind of defense they're playing? Because they went 15, 20 yards off the line of scrimmage, man. Prevent defense. I never understood that.
I don't understand a lot of this new school shit that I'm watching. I don't understand a lot of, like, Rich, to be honest with you, I don't watch a lot of football. When it was like on Sunday nights, I go look up stats for our show.
The curtains peeled back.
Oh shit!
So
man.
Pac-Man Jones came out. I think he was doing something with Barstool, like a hit, and they were talking about quarterbacks, and he said that Joe Burrow, I'm paraphrasing, is a better quarterback than quote, Joe Burrow is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is a system, insinuating Mahomes is a system quarterback and nothing more. So you don't need to know, you don't need to watch the game for the show to know this. You played a long time, your whole life. What's the definition of a system quarterback? Like what how do you define that?
I'm trying to think of a system quarterback that played that what a system made him great. I don't think I know any.
How about like Warren Moon back in the day with the run and shoot?
I take that, but Patrick Mahomes makes so many plays with his feet, running around and scrambling around, making crazy throws across his body. These unorthodox throws he's making and turning them into first downs and touchdowns and big games. I do like Joe Burrow. I do think he is a better pocket passer than Patrick Mahomes. I do believe that. But I don't think Joe can make the awkward plays that Patrick can.
Well, Cincinnati's got his number, man. They got Patrick Mahomes' number because they beat him again. I think he's 3-0. Is Brady, when he was with Belichick, a system quarterback?
No, I don't think that, because, they had the same system with a new quarterback and it didn't go the same. While Brady went to Tampa and won another Super Bowl.
Where would you put Eli in that conversation?
You say as a system quarterback?
No, I'm just asking in general. Like, where do we, Eli was a really nice deep ball thrower. A lot of stuff with the play action.
Eli threw a smooth, beautiful ball, strong arm, smart as all get out, put us in situations, just got us out of, situation that was bad just by, changing the play, from runs to pass, changing certain routes predicated off coverages, would he see, Eli was a genius when it came time to doing stuff, he just couldn't run. And he probably tell you he can run, but he couldn't run.
I always remember
he ran enough to get you what you needed to get, but I love Easy. He couldn't run though.
I would always sit there when I was watching the game, or I was watching the game with my dad for so many years. I sit there and I look at him and I was like, oh man, it's gonna be a friggin' delayed draw. Look how they're lined up, and then boom, it's a delayed draw.
Hey, 42 draw. Here you go. 42, 48.
Bread and butter.
Draw was something. Good ass play on third down in like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Run it like that, yeah. Good.
But that's why it's good. Sometimes on second and short, you can do whatever you want. You can run, you can play action, you just don't want to get yourself in third and long. You don't want to keep pushing your offense back or getting yourself in those situations where defense is basically they pin the ear back. You gonna watch any of the fights this weekend?
I watched a couple of highlights of Tyson Fury fight. That's my guy, so I had to watch a little bit of him.
But you're not gonna watch. You got Lopez this weekend. You got Bud Crawford fighting.
They're not on the same card though.
No. Bud's fighting. Yeah, Bud's fighting in Nebraska, and Teofimo's fighting in Madison Square Garden,
New York. Yeah, I'm watching Bud though.
You watching Bud?
Absolutely.
I pulled it up. Yeah. his opponent is plus 800, and Bud is sitting at minus 1,800 as a favorite. See, I don't think I think this kid is a live dog, so to speak, because he takes risks. But the problem is, you got the long layoff, right, from Bud. Southpaw Tricky coming in. I feel as though we haven't seen him in so long, which we really haven't. But I don't think he's going to take his opponent for granted. I don't think he's going to be. I think it's kind of a tune-up, like get right kind of fight. Knock the ring rust off, so to speak. Have a good, decisive, dominating performance, and potentially set something up for 2023.
Bud is definitely going to walk through his opponent. He's going to take him serious. I see fourth, fifth round knockout.
Oh, you see,
which is going to be stealing, robbing the people, because we want to see you, Bud. We want to see you fight. So we'll take your wins because we're big fans. But I would like to see you fight at least 8 rounds.
Yeah, but that can go both ways, right? He probably wants to sit there and be like, you know what? I'm tired of this nonsense. People think I'm not going to get this guy out of here after a layoff. Let me get him out of here. Then if the fight goes to distance, you're going to have the idiots on social media turn around and say, yeah, he's lost his. You can't win. It's so like Teofimo Lopez, right? You realize Lopez is just 25 years old. And yet it feels as though this guy has fallen off a cliff. So he beats Loma, and then he comes back, and what happens? He loses to Kambosos, and then he follows that up and he beats Campa. And people look at Teofimo Lopez, good fighter, 17-1, 13, 14 knockouts, just 25 years of age. And all of a sudden we forgot about this guy. So like his opponent, he's going against a southpaw, Santa Martin, from Spain for the WBO title. This guy's got 43 fights under his belt. I guarantee if Lopez doesn't get out of here, people are going to sit there and say, Teofimo Lopez. You know who they're going to start talking about Lopez like? Mikey Garcia.
No.
Mikey Garcia is like non-existent now.
He is non-existent. Great fighter now. I mean, I don't know about that one. I mean, I think
this is not a disrespect. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm saying the sport is so cynical. You know that. This kid's just 25 years old. He loses
a lot of talking.
Yeah, he loses one fight, and people are like, he's trash.
No, but you know how boxing is, though, man. Boxing is the only sport, man, where it's so super unfair. Because we talked about this once before on the show. Because you got to go and lose, it doesn't make him a non-champion, because he got clipped on the chin and kind of slipped that 1 second throughout the fight, got caught slipping and got stopped.
Yep.
That doesn't mean he's not a good fighter. I mean, I hate when they write boxers off after they lose. I hate that, man. That's such bullshit.
But that's what they do. I mean, that's just where we're at. I'm pulling up the card right now. I'm pulling up a lot of fights. These are all, nothing. I mean, obviously for the hardcore fans like you and I, we know some of these names, but I think we're waiting to see what's going to transpire, say in early spring. Look, Garcia and Haney and Tank and Shakur. I mean, those are the names that, we want to see back in the ring. But I think if Crawford makes a statement, I think they'll figure out a way. It might not be in the spring, but I think he's going to figure out a way for the fight against Spence to happen. I think they're going to get so much pushback and blowback and pressure just from the sport itself, where they're going to have to make that happen. And I know Eddie Hearn came out and basically said that neither one of those fighters, i.e. Crawford, is like a draw, like a superstar, to paraphrase.
Nah. I'm looking forward to see what Bud looks like, man. I can make a deal. I'm thinking Bud beating Spence in 12 easy, if not stopping him. I want to see what he looks like after this long layoff.
You think he stops him like that?
Oh yeah. I think Spence might have a hard time with Keith Thurman. I mean, he can't just go out there looking around and, he got to go fight.
No, Thurman's going to pressure. He's going to try to get the jab. I mean, he's going to try to go to the body. He's going to try to get inside, but Spence can just peck him from the outside. He's going to take some chances. We know that.
It's going to take chances. I do get that, but he is a dangerous fighter, man. He's a dangerous fight for him to take. I mean, that's a dangerous fight.
Yeah, your boy Fury had a relatively easy time.
Hey, man, that's just what we do, man. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? Big, strong, fast.
Yep. Built like a Greek god at 6. What is he? 6'9"?
That's what we do, man. That's exactly what we do, Rich. I know this fight is not coming up no time soon, which I don't know when it is going to be because he have Garcia before Garcia actually. I'm so ready to see Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia.
Yeah. Yep.
So look, Rich. Let's say because they both got fights coming up. Let's say let's say Tank loses, which is the fight's next week. What's the week after? When is it?
What date are we? Where are we at? Hold on.
We are.
No, he's fighting January. The Hector Garcia fight?
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's January because I know they were talking about
Showtime. It's a Showtime fight.
And then May, I think that they were talking about the Garcia fight, which I really want to go to. But let's say one of the two guys, if they get ready to fight, lose. Is that fight still something that people want to see?
I do, because it kind of backs what you just said. Just because you lose a fight or get clipped. Now, if he loses, see, here's the thing. In that case, if Tank loses to Hector Garcia, that's a bad loss. Now,
bad loss. I agree. However, I think just because the shit talking that they've been doing, I still think Ryan Garcia and Tank is a big fight.
So, yeah, but they talk, like Tank and Garcia, that fight, you'll have it at a catch weight. I mean, I think no matter what, you're going to have, I mean, that's the fight that fans want. I think it would really disrupt the apple cart if Tank went out and lost his fight in January.
I don't think he's going to. It was just a question that I asked,
Yeah, I think does it take a little steam off of this? I think it would.
I think it would.
Huh?
I don't know. I don't know if it takes something off of it or not. I mean,
like, what happens if Crawford goes out Saturday night in his hometown and gets clipped and gets knocked out?
Hey, let's not talk like that, though.
Got to play devil's advocate,
right? Is the Spence fight going to be just as big?
That's what I was about to say.
Probably not. If they were to sign it, probably not. But I don't see him getting clipped and getting stopped at home. I don't see that. And I definitely don't see. I definitely don't see him being outboxed.
No. His acumen, his ring generalship, it's going to be on display, man. It's going to be on display. But again, that's why we had the conversation, because a lot of times people are saying, well, why would you want to see this fight when this guy just lost? But those are also the, I think to some extent, some of the novice, the next big, December 10th, you also have Josh Warrington taking on Luis Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking in you taking on Butler, which is going to be in Tokyo. He's a hell of a fighter. And then after that, the next big one is January 7th, Washington, D.C. That's in Showtime. Showtime pay-per-view. That's Davis versus Garcia. And then, they'll set January and February going forward. Adam Lopez, he's not a bad fighter. He's fighting back in January. Charlo's fighting late January.
I want to see him, man. I want to see Charlo.
Yeah, and then Josh Taylor's fighting. I like Josh Taylor.
I don't know, man. I don't know about Josh Taylor, man. I mean, he got to show me some stuff, man. He got to show me more. He got to fight some of the top guys in the division, man.
Yeah, well, he's fighting. He'll defend a WBO junior welterweight title against what the hell's his name? Jack Catterall. So that's February in the UK. So, but yeah, I look, Crawford gets pass who he needs to, then you'll get the buzz again. And then, Timofimo Lopez, it's like I said, it's just crazy. Loses to Cambosis, comes back and he wins. And then we forget he beat Lomachenko and he's just 25. Mm-hmm. I don't know. People are going to try to write him off. All right. Give me predictions for Sunday. 1:00.
Talking about Giants Eagles?
No, I'm talking about the friggin' Texans and the Cowboys.
Oh shit! you say Texans and who?
Come on, man. Not the Cowboys.
I'm going with the Texans.
Come on. Give me your thoughts on the Eagles and give me that path of victory real quick. What do they need to do besides having the friggin' bus breakdown?
Get to the quarterback. Get to the quarterback. Create problems for the Eagles offense. And that's just about it. That's all I say. They're really running gun, man. It's going to be really hard to stop the Eagles. It's going to be really hard to stop the Eagles. I just think you got to get to the quarterback and you can't turn over the football.
Agree.
You cannot put the ball in harm's way, and you cannot make that many mistakes. You got to be perfect.
Nope. Agree 100%. All right. Don't forget, everyone, check us out on the YouTube channel. Follow us on social media. Follow the big man all over the place. He's poking the bear left and right. As always, say what you have to say before we get out of here.
Hey, everybody. Listen up. Okay. Listen. Have a great rest of the week. Enjoy your weekend. Have good humanities. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir. Please and fucking thank you. Okay? And thank you. Hold the door open for people. Be nice. Regardless of what they look like. Be nice. Great humanities. Enjoy you guys' weekend and be great.
I thought we were going to get out of here. One show, the total, and the F-bomb in the end. You were doing so well.
I was doing so good, but I figured it was needed because I wasn't.
Well, hey, 9:30 on Eastern time. I know it's Hookie time. I know that. All right, brother. I always appreciate you. Have a good night. Enjoy the games on Sunday and the boxing over the weekend. And we will talk next week. As always, everyone, for the big man, two-time Super Bowl champ from the New York Football Giants, number 27, Brandon Jacobs. I'm Rich Quinones. Subscribe, like, comment, check us out. 27 and Q. We will talk to you next week.
Peace out.